What's up, A to Z Sports here live on a Wednesday. We made it live about 10 minutes later than what we were going to be because Easton, your computer did the thing again. And I think it's time for something. I think
A
it is
new one?
for a new
Yeah.
computer. Yeah. And I might have a present for you under the bench in my office. So we'll see if that can come to fruition. But my God, this computer is my least favorite thing right now. With your stupid computer doing stupid things at the worst times possible.
It
If
served
your
me really well for 3 years until the last 2 weeks where it's decided to turn tail on me.
That's usually how computers go these days. All right, we are gonna have a good show because we've been bitching the last like 60 hours about this game and the loss to the Denver Broncos.
True.
We're going to talk positively today about Cam Ward because an NFL analyst was, quote, blown away by Cam Ward's tape. The Titans got a guy. We'll hear from that NFL analyst shortly. Easton, you went and dug into the film. I guess we put JT on the Dan Moore duty the day before, and then now you get the Cam Ward duty. So you won that one, I guess.
Mine was way more fun.
I don't
Yeah.
know who drew what straw, but we are going to have a good show talking about Cam Ward. You also got a chance to have your second tour of the new stadium yesterday morning during the show. So I have not talked to you about it at all. Yesterday was a wild day for you and I, so we never got to connect on a phone call or anything after this tour. So we're gonna have I'm gonna ask you questions, and I'm a part of the audience for that update on how the tour went, and it's trivia. Hopefully your computer will last and trivia can be successful, unlike it did a couple weeks ago when JT had to pinch hit for trivia. And I think we had a pretty good pinch hit trivia session. But we're going to talk positive about Cam Ward today. Easton, I hope that's not one of those alcoholic seltzers that got accidentally messed up in your little thermos mug there. But let's get this thing off and rolling.
Yeah, it was a Celsius, and then my computer did that, and I switched it out for a high noon. Good morning, Austin. Hope everybody's having a great start to their morning. Hope everybody is doing better this morning than me and my computer are doing. Now that we are here, I am stoked to talk about some Titans, talk about some positivity. You guys know me, Mr. Positivity. We got some optimism coming out of this game. We're spinning it forward. We're focused on week 2. It's Rams week. There are some things from the first game of the season that the Titans can take into week 2, I think, especially along the Cam Ward lines, that are, one, were exciting to watch, and two, I'm excited to watch in week 2 when maybe some things around him are a little bit better. We'll see about that. First, before we get to any of it, need you to like the show on Facebook, on YouTube. Hit that like button for us. Extremely, extremely helpful. Like the show and then jump in the comments like NM Titan and Curtis, Jonathan, Jared, Stillman's Burner, Demario, Troy, Landon, some familiar faces there in the chat. Hello to all of you on YouTube and on Facebook. Want to hear your thoughts on today's show, on today's questions. Going to be a great one. Austin, let's get it started.
Yep, let's get going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports here, powered by the BTA Sports app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Easton Freeze, our Titan reporter for A to Z Sports.com. We're Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings around 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. You got to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help out all of you. Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon, WilsonCountyHyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. Botero Carts, life is short, buy a golf cart. 2 locations, Gallatin and the new one in Columbia. And Window Nation, buy 2 windows. You'll get 2 free with no payments for 2 years, only this month at windownation.com. So Easton, I did see Troy has, Jared had this comment. If y'all are too positive, then someone will get mad because they say you're kissing ass. That's kind of like the rock and a hard place I feel like we're in right now because, after yesterday's show, I crossed over the 3.5 hour mark of reacting to the Broncos game. And I was done with it, right? So I do feel like I've done my appropriate level of complaining and talking about the missed opportunities and how bad some of the decisions are. I think the Brian Callahan rule mishap is something that was made bigger by his and a PR mistake after the game, the press conference. And I think some fans will never move on from that. Some fans will always believe that Brian Callahan did not know the rule, when in fact he does know the rule, but they're going to say, I don't believe you. You're lying. Yeah, right. Whatever. So that's just how that's going to be. But we are here to talk about Cam Ward a little bit. But is there anything else you want to kind of put a bow on? Because this is your first morning show. You did primetime last night. You've been traveling from Denver, then you toured the stadium yesterday morning, and you did primetime last night. Here we are. So anything else on the Denver game that you just kind of like to, before we talk Cam Ward, any non-Cam stuff that you want to get to?
Yeah, goodness, what's it been? 5 days since I've been on the morning show? That's got to be my biggest morning show break in months. I'm ready to move on from it too. I kind of touched on it a little bit in primetime last night. You mentioned like the rock in the hard place, and fans will complain if you don't like do the appropriate amount of penance. We're only 1 week into the season. I've already decided that I just don't give a crap. I don't care. I'm just going to say what I think. And if I know something to be true, I'm going to say it. And I'm not going to worry about whether it makes me look appropriately positive or appropriately negative. I couldn't care any less at this point, because no matter what you do, like this weekend where I write 2 stories in the Denver press box immediately following the game, both absolutely slamming Brian Callahan and the Titans team. And then the following 24 hours are nonstop accusations of soft pedaling Brian Callahan and soft pedaling the Titans because I got an interview one time, which I learned this weekend, Austin. Apparently, I'm the only person who has ever interviewed Brian Callahan. This was news to me. But that's what the people are telling me. And that's, you know what, you guys, you caught me. I use kid gloves with Brian Callahan because he said, if you want to do it again, you better not say a mean word about me. Pay no attention to the 1,000-word article I wrote calling him incompetent in 14 different ways. So I've decided that you can't win for losing, and I don't care anymore.
And to Steven's comment saying that I'm Callahan's PR man. I mean, if I learn something, would you just want me to keep it to myself?
Right.
Do
we care about the truth or not? That's the question here.
Yeah. I mean, Rudy says, do a poll, Austin, if he knew the rule or not. He knew the rule. He was failed by
I'm telling you he knew the rule. Yeah. I'm telling you that being a head coach in the NFL, you get paid a lot of money for your job to really suck sometimes. And real leaders fall on the sword for their guys and don't throw people under the bus. And sometimes that is so much easier said than done, you know?
Yeah, because everybody remembers Callahan blew it and not the players or not the guy in the booth who said the wrong rule. So anyway, all right, let's move on.
Callahan made some mistakes. The point is that every Titans person in the world in Denver that day, everybody made at least 1 or 2 really nasty mistakes.
Yep, no doubt. All right,
Cam Ward included. We're going to get to that later here in the show.
Cam Ward did make some mistakes, for sure. All right, so let's talk about the good stuff, though, because we just kind of did the thing we said we weren't going to do. But here we are.
That's no more negativity. That's all of it.
Yeah. That was just the computer frustration getting out of the way. All right. This is Dan Orlovsky. Was this yesterday or is this Monday? Early in the week. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe
I think it was yesterday.
I think it was yesterday on the Pat McAfee show. And here is Dan Orlovsky, NFL analyst, talking glowingly about Cam Ward's debut.
Cam Ward, I just saw you tweet. I saw a couple other guys tweet as well. I didn't watch as much of that game. You look at the stat sheet, look at the box scores, doesn't look great. I saw a clip, I believe, of his father up in the stands getting pissed off too. What is the number 1 pick, Cam Ward? What does his tape look like? I know he was facing a very
what's this sub-tweet?
So
you didn't even include a bruh.
Yeah, we needed a bruh.
What did it look like?
It's strategy. It's called strategery.
Okay.
Or being a con.
I don't think you're a clown.
Shut up, Connor.
Easy.
Yeah, I was like blown away by his tape. I thought his tape looked awesome, dude. Like he throws Tennessee's got a guy. Like Tennessee's got a guy. Like this guy's talent of throwing a football is off the charts. They win the game if they don't have like 8 drops. I counted for that plays awesome. That's like that reminds me of like Joe Burrow-ish type stuff. I just the ability for him to thread the needle on some of the throws and just to cut the ball loose with what he's looking at, I was wildly impressed with. I mean, that defense is awesome. And he made some throws that were, I mean, dude, I got drops on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drops.
Yeah,
Four
so
of
is
them
his
in the fourth
dad.
quarter.
His dad has those
Yeah,
too.
his dad was catching. He saw all of those.
That
He was
was
sick of him
great.
getting up, just going over.
Dude, they win the
Where's
game. I mean, I
Restrepo?
remember,
The guy ran
Denver's
a
like a
6'1"
massive
40.
source.
He caught the ball.
Strepro catch.
yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of Griff Whaley.
So
Right there with Andrew.
he cuts it loose, man. He is crazy talented throwing the ball. Now, I'll give you two things. Like, yes, there are times when he's got to be like, Cam, you can't take that sack. Like, he takes back-to-back sacks that takes him out of field goal range. He did that in college. He's got to learn from that. He would be my expectation. And there are also some times that he fires the friggin' ball in there. And I'm like, could you have taken a little bit off to help him? He's got the touch. He does. This isn't there's some guys who throw everything as a fastball. That's not that's not the case here.
money.
I just did that throw sick. I'm telling you. I mean, he's got. I wish I had B-roll for you guys. He's got 8 drops that you're like, yo, that throw is off the chart. So
Tennessee's got a guy. Blown away, Dan Orlovsky. So we're gonna go ahead and ask the audience this question here. I mean, well, we'll get your reaction, Easton, to Dan here in a second. But what impressed you most about Cam Ward's first real game? What impressed you most about Cam Ward's first real game with the Titans? We'll get to all those answers here. But Easton, tell our friends in the audience, I just called all of you friends, by the way. I hope you guys paid attention to that, about Botero Carts.
Botero Carts. Where's this? We have so many overlays because we have so many amazing sponsors. I've got to learn what colors each of them are. This one is Botero Carts. Life is short. Buy a golf cart, which is probably my favorite of our quick sells because I love the let's just have fun nature of this. Life is short. Buy a golf cart. This is the place you got to go if you want to get your hands on a fantastic golf cart in the Nashville area. 0% financing for 36 months. So they are not going to charge you an arm and a leg if you can't pay for the whole thing up front. And who's got a couple, $1,000 for a nice golf cart lying around? Finance that bad boy, 0%. For 3 years. The carts start at $6,700. They're open 7 days a week. Full service sales and rental, all at the one dealership, locally owned and operated. They do have 2 locations, Botero does, in Columbia and in Gallatin. So wherever you are in Middle Tennessee, not too far away is a Botero cart dealership for you. No dealer fee, no credit card fees, indoor cart storage. So you don't have to worry about it having sat out in the sun. And they have a no credit option. If that's something that is interesting to you, you're worried about the credit, don't worry about it. You can still get your hands on a golf cart because life is short and you should buy a golf cart.
Also powered by BTA Sports. Download the BTA Sports app. It is better for bettors. It is better for fantasy football players. So if you want to one-up your buddies in your league this year or win more coin on your app, BTA Sports is on our team. They're not a sports book. They're on our team. They are against Vegas too. So let's go do it together. And you can download the BTA Sports app using the link in our description. Use our code ATOZ, and you get a 14-day free trial for a $99 season pass that's only available in September. So make sure you do that today with BTA Sports. All right, Easton, I'll send you to the chat. We asked what impressed you most about Cam Ward's first real game with the Titans. And then, you can kind of mix in your Dan Orlovsky reaction there too. As we heard, the NFL analyst was, quote, blown away by Cam Ward's tape and said, Tennessee's got a guy. And the Titans would have won the game if 8 drops didn't happen. I don't know what 8 plays Dan was looking at because there were many drops for sure. But there was a couple questionable drops that is up to the beholder. So curious to see which one you would go with, the chat or your reaction to Dan.
Yeah, I think 8 drops is a little bit generous. I do think there are probably 2 drops in there that, I was talking about. One of, you're not often sharp like this, Austin, but you nailed it with this one. I'm just giving you a hard time. This is one of my favorite things that you have pointed out in the past month is that Calvin Ridley is a caliber of athlete that makes uncatchable balls for everybody else look like drops, which I think is a perfect way of putting it. And that kind of showed itself at times in this game.
Yes.
Yes, but he also had real drops too. So
Yeah,
we're not
kidding.
letting Calvin off the hook.
And BTA Sports, we all took Calvin Ridley over because it was there, right?
If he caught the ones he really could have caught, he'd have had 70+ yards pretty easily.
Yeah, and we would have been like, I would have been $100 richer. But hey, that's not BTA's fault. That's Calvin.
That's Calvin's fault. So
it's in the game. It's right there. So
yeah, it is. But Dan's reaction, and we'll get to y'all's reaction in the comments, is one that I've seen a lot of, right? Like Dan, I think, is on the same page. I saw Ben Solak writing about this at ESPN. I saw Stephen Ruiz at The Ringer, a quarterback expert in his own right, talking about this on Twitter. I've seen quite a few. I was listening to the Athletic Football Show guys talking about this, and Derek Klassen, who's a quarterback expert, in my opinion, talking very highly of Cam Ward's debut. It wasn't perfect. No, we're going to talk about the things that he can spin forward to next week and the rest of the season and continue to improve on. But let's get to some of their answers, y'all's answers in the comments, because I'm excited to talk about what in this first game was really, truly impressive from Cam Ward. And I think Vanessa's all over it right out of the gate. He played like he had been playing for years. The poise that Cam Ward showed is what impressed Curtis the most. Let's see. Poise from, like I said, the fact that there were no turnovers. He was clean with the ball, technically fumbled at the very end of the game, but those, I hardly count those. End of game turnovers are what they are. You're doing everything.
Same thing as like end of half Hail Mary interceptions. Like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Deborah
also,
says
there should be a separate category for certain stats like that. End of game desperation or end of half, heaves.
That's
why
why
how the NBA has now separated the heaves from 3-point percentage. That's what should happen here. Also, quarterback kneel downs should not remove rushing yards from quarterbacks.
You're 100% right. That's always a fun one when somebody's sitting right on their over/under line, and then at the end of the game, and there's nothing you can do. It's coming, and it is what it is.
Shotgun, come on.
Put the backup in there. Let Mason Rudolph take a knee. The poise is what Deborah says in the comments. Steven was really impressed by the zip on his arm. Definitely showed off some arm strength in this one. We've got some video of Cam Ward that shows off that arm strength coming up here in a minute. How composed he always looks. He looked like he belonged. His nervous system, as Callahan said, all summer long. The quick release on his passes. So a really common theme here. The poise under pressure is the primary answer from folks, and I think that it's the correct answer, Austin.
Poise under pressure.
That's my answer. Is his poise. I mean, I can go ahead and give my answer.
Let's because you've got film to go on.
I was about to say I want to show you folks.
So I'll let you expound upon your answer. My answer is his ability to make a play when the pocket breaks down. And I think that's different than poise. I mean,
you mean like his first drop back as an NFL quarterback?
Yes.
Because that's what he did immediately.
Yeah. And you're like, oh God, like that was really good. And that was the biggest play of the day.
No. Yes.
But it's the calmness and how he doesn't panic. He doesn't freak out. There is a cool level to him that we've been talking about ever since the Titans drafted him in April of, he and Will Levis have similar styles, but they're completely different between the years while playing that style, they do the same things in the pocket. They hold on the ball too long. They take bad sacks. They run around a little bit. And then sometimes they flip the ball out into a direction that nobody's expecting it. But Cam has like the nervous system to do it appropriately and to know where Tony Pollard is and kind of no look, toss it over to Tony, who takes off for 29 yards on 3rd and 11, where Will Levis is like underhand diving, flipping it, throwing it to whoever the hell is over there. And so I think that's what really stood out to me, because it wasn't just that one play. The Dan Moore hold, that the 3rd and 11, he was able to navigate and kind of skinny through there and get out. So I think that's kind of my thought is how cool he stays. So it's a little bit different than poise. but I guess that can be described as poise.
Well, and don't skim over another one in this game where he's standing on the B in Broncos in his own end zone and throws across his body across the field to Calvin Ridley in what is another instance of, probably shouldn't do that. Oh, never mind. He got away with it.
We did see that a lot in preseason and training camp of the rolling right and just nosed and
did you immediately think of the stadium practice when he did that? Because I immediately thought of that stadium practice play.
Yeah, because that's where and that's something that I think we can watch with Cam and Ridley, because now that we've seen that multiple times, that's an on purpose scramble drill for them.
Yeah.
Like I think, and I don't know this is just me connecting dots, that normally scramble drill for a quarterback, if the quarterback's rolling to the right sideline, for example, if you're you have your rules on where your route initially was. It's like, do you go to the sideline? Do you come back, or do you bail? Like if you're a short route, you bail up the sideline. If you're a deeper route, then you come back. And so there's a lot of different things there. I think Calvin Ridley and Cam had this hey, I might, dip out the backside and see if you can heave it over there to me, because nobody's going to pay attention to me over there.
No, I think you're 100% right. It's typically either get upfield or crash back to the quarterback, but stay that half of the field, right? Turn it into a half field drill. And
I'm just going to kind of sneak over here.
And it's totally irresponsible on paper, right? Like it's top line of, in high school and college, the things that coaches day one say, these are the things you absolutely are not allowed to do as a quarterback. But Calvin has this innate trust in Cam's ability to see him, process him over there. But then also, as some folks in the comments said, his arm strength, his sneaky arm strength to get the ball over there in time and accurately, that's going to work. And maybe teams eventually clue in on that. But that's a hard thing as a defender to pay attention to, because everybody's crashing to the quarterback except for apparently one guy.
Yeah,
I also thought it was.
Okay, sorry.
I was just going to comment on your answer. One more thing, that I thought that the script writers for the NFL were a little bit on the nose with the fact that his first drop back was exactly the kind of thing we saw Will try to do a lot last year, and it just worked. Like it was the kind of thing that would turn Will Levis into a national meme for 7 days, but instead for Cam Ward, it's a completion. And for folks that listened to me on this show throughout the draft and scouting process, you undoubtedly got sick and tired of me saying this about Cam Ward, but I think it is the best simple explanation of the way that he plays football. And I think everyone that watched him in Denver saw it this way. He plays quarterback with a resting heart rate of 65 BPM. Like his resting heart rate and his running heart rate when he's on a football field on the grass are like 5 beats difference. The guy plays so calm in the face of chaos and nonsense. And it's really, really impressive. So I think your answer about being able to create and to do so immediately in your debut in a really, really tough situation against the best defense on the road at altitude in a really rocking stadium is incredibly encouraging.
Yeah. Dixie says, my favorite play was the backside dig that Ridley dropped. Every NFL QB has to make that throw, and Cam did it to perfection. Looked the safety off and fit it right in a tight window, 100%. Yep. And so, I saw Randy asked, Austin, is your take different on Cam than it was right after the game? And, Eric says I'm a flip-flopper. I think most people have different takes after settling in. When you do a post-game show that's an immediate reaction show, it's always going to be way more emotionally charged than it is on Tuesday morning. And so, I gave Cam Ward a C+ in the post-game show grade. And
Fraud.
Or maybe a C or C+. And I think I said that I would probably grade everybody on the Titans offense lower than Cam Ward, and maybe outside of Lloyd Cushenberry. And that was just because I knew at the time that Lloyd Cushenberry did not have a penalty, and he didn't do something egregious that I saw on the TV copy in live time. Everybody else did something against that. Like Tony Pollard fumbled, Calvin dropped, Chig drops. Somebody ran the wrong route on that screen on second down at their own 7. I don't know who. Dan Moore, we got that. Peter Skronsky had a hold that was declined. You had Zeitler had the false start, the play before the Tony fumble, and then JC had a couple things going on here too.
My boy didn't mess up. Give Alec his flowers.
Oh, Alec.
He caught that ball. He caught
No,
that ball.
he did have a drop though.
Alec
had
yeah,
one,
good point. Actually, good point.
Alec,
Yeah,
Alec had a drop.
I forgot
Chin
about the Alec
couldn't
drop.
bend
Never
in
mind.
long enough. Gunnar Helm, I don't know. Gunnar Helm got destroyed on a couple blocks.
The run blocking's a work in progress. We knew this. We knew this.
That's sometimes coaching though. But yeah, so again, I think C or C plus. Can't remember exactly what I said, but I know I did say that I think I would grade Cam one of the highest on the offensive side. It was just a tough day because it was a tough test, right? Like if it's the hardest test of the year and the smartest kid in class gets a C plus or C, then teacher's probably going to grade them on a curve a little bit because that was tough. I understand that was tough. Next week will be better, right? So that's my take. So Easton, I do want to get to your expanded view on this overall first question. That's what impressed you most about Cam Ward's first real game. We'll do that, but first I'll have you go ahead and talk about another one of our friends, the Bone and Joint Institute.
The Bone and Joint Institute, been with us for quite a long time. We love our friends over at BJI. Don't fumble on your recovery. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who to trust, and we trust our friends over at boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics and sports medicine, located in Franklin, just down 65 here in Middle Tennessee. They have a dozen specialists who can help you through any type of injury, any type. They have a state-of-the-art rehab facility on campus to help you recover. It's a nose-to-tail shop over there with a clinic, testing, imaging, surgery, and rehab center all in-house. To schedule an appointment today, go to boneandjointtn.org.
BTA Sports, really easy, guys. If you want to win more money, make smarter sports bets to help beat Vegas, BTA is here on our side to do that too. So I did hit the Eagles Cowboys over in the first half. I should have hit the Eagles team total, but weather delays. That's the tough thing. Sometimes weather delays and Calvin Ridley's drops get in the way of losing some really good bets. But 65% chance for that Eagles Cowboys first half over, that cashed. 65% chance for the over for Eagles total. That was close. All I needed was 1 second half point, and that would have helped me out quite a bit. But make sure you download the BTA Sports app. The link is in our show descriptions here, and then also sign up for that 14-day free trial, $99 season pass right there with BTA Sports. Easton, your answer officially to what was impressed you most about Cam Ward's first real game is
the poise. Yeah, we'll talk about what everybody in the chat was saying. I think that this is the primary thing that was most surprising to me, and tweeted about it and talked about it in some writing after the show, after the game. Cam was not perfect in this game, but he was one of the bright spots for the Titans for sure. And there's a reason why everybody locally and nationally are this week, after we've gotten over our outrage over the other things, talking about how Cam Ward was really, it's got to be one of the most extreme examples of stats versus film, because it might be the most impressive 122-yard, 0 touchdown performance of all time, which is a low bar because there aren't many impressive ones of those. But he showed so many things, and some of them we're going to show on tape here in a second, indicators that me as a quarterback evaluator, and certainly folks that are much better at evaluating quarterback than I am, have confirmed this week. The things you're looking for in these young guys to say, he gets it. We talked about this a little bit after, I think it was the Tampa Bay game, where I gave an example of hitting Chig up the seam, identifying the coverage at the line of scrimmage, changing his drop, changing his progression mentally, and knowing that he can get the ball to Chig in anticipation as he turns around before anybody else can physically get to him to ensure a first down. It's those little things where it's like, okay, these are benchmarks for, can you be a pocket passer in the NFL or not?
Yeah.
And some guys, there are some outrageously talented players in NFL history that just can't, and they never were able to demonstrate that. There are also some guys on the flip side of that coin that they have it all mentally, but you're like, man, I think Marcus was frankly a decent example of this. Somebody that you're just like, man, I don't know if they can push the ball to all the areas of the field that you quite need them to. And Marcus is actually not the best example because he doesn't have the weakest arm of all time or anything like that. But Cam's arm strength, ability to get the ball outside the numbers on time, with touch when needed, with zip when needed, And that goes hand in hand with the anticipation, because these are timing routes that not only do you have to be strong enough to get the ball there, and I think Levis is a great example of this, right? Like last year, we saw a number of times him, an unbelievable, like in terms of quarterbacks currently employed in the NFL, of which he is one, a top 5 raw arm strength guy, Will Levis is. And he would constantly have to try to compensate for being a half tick late by throwing the ball a zillion miles an hour. And sometimes it worked. Sometimes it led to a drop or inaccuracy or still being a tick too late. Cam Ward marries that strength, not quite Will Levis strength, but above average arm strength with anticipation. And the way that he carried himself in this game, the poise answer is kind of hard to put your finger on exactly. And I want to show some of this tape in a second. We can actually, let's just go ahead and roll the tape while I'm talking about this. If you can, Austin. His poise throughout what was an unbelievably unfortunate first game to have to play in. Again, rookie quarterback on the road at elevation against, for my money, the best defense in the league. And let's throw on top of that the fact that your offensive line was breaking down around you. Your weapons were letting you down consistently with drops or bobbles, not staying in bounds. He still answered the bell over and over. They're down 8 points with the ball on their own 30 some odd yard line with, a minute to go in the game. And he's not panicking. He's not throwing turnover worthy plays. He is throwing seeds that his teammates are dropping. So he's answering the bell at every turn, from his first drop back, which you just saw on your screen, his ability to create with knowing that Tony Pollard's the outlet there, to his last couple of dropbacks where he is throwing dimes in crunch time up against the wall and his teammates are letting him down. He looked like a guy, and somebody said it in the comments, I apologize for not remembering who, looks like a guy that's been playing for years. And I don't know how.
Hospital ball.
That and then again, not a perfect game whatsoever. That ball in particular, I don't blame the drop there at all. I blame that one.
What? That's costing me money.
Yeah, spiked the ball down into the turf. But boy, there were so many things, just to kind of wrap up my rambling here. There were so many things that he showed, some proof of concepts, right? It's not about the stat sheet. It's not about the compilation of things that was able to put in the record books, but it is the proof of concepts that he showed, of which there were 3 or 4 or 5, where you're like Dan Orlovsky, you're saying, I think the Tennessee Titans got themselves a guy.
Yeah. And that's, I'm glad you brought that back up again from Dan, because we kind of didn't really dive into is he a guy?
Sure.
Do we look at game number 1 and feel even more confident than maybe we were already in? Like, let's just say you're on your 0 to Tom Brady level of, are you a franchise quarterback, right?
Okay.
I don't know where Cam Ward started, but did he climb a notch towards the Tom Brady 100 level of franchise quarterback just from that game? As ugly as that game was, I think he went the correct direction.
Oh, undoubtedly, yes. And I got some heat for maybe a questionably worded tweet during the game, because I was talking about the fact that he looks so poised, and I forget exactly what I said, but I basically worded it like, Cam Ward might ultimately be bad at football, but holy cow, the guy looks so composed and so poised. And what I meant by that, and I clarified in the tweet because I got a million be like, oh, Easton thinks he's bad at football. No. I'm saying the jury is still out. 3 years from now, we may say it just didn't work out. Cam Ward's bad at football. You know what I mean? These young guys, you never really know until you get a sample size, and one game certainly isn't one. But is it a game that makes me more confident that he's a guy? Absolutely, it does. As we talked about early on in the summer, Austin, back when Cam Ward had gone through, like a month's worth of offseason activities, and we kept remarking on how, man, there's not much to say about Cam because he's just been so darn perfect and he's done everything that we've asked him to do. And I wonder when he's going to stumble. And we talked about the possible stumbling blocks of, getting in padded practices, getting in joint practices, playing in preseason games, and then playing in the regular season, the first game of which was going to be a brutal test. Well, he's made some mistakes since then, and he made some mistakes in this game. But this was the kind of environment, the kind of situation for a game that a lesser quarterback, I'd argue most young, even really good young quarterbacks, would have come undone a little bit, would have looked frazzled, would have looked like they were pressing. And he just didn't. And I don't know how that can't be a step in the right direction for him towards proving, wow, this guy really, like, let's give him a year at least. But he really, really looks like he belongs in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. It was a tough draw with this first game. Really crazy tough. If the game was at home versus the Broncos defense, that'd be a little bit better. But that defense, I don't care what field you're on, it's going to make that thing really intense. So, they're
going to make some good teams look really dumb this year. Like I'm not, and I tweeted this too. Like I'm not saying, well, it's actually the Titans are sneaky good. It's just the Broncos defense. No, the Titans were bad in this game on top of playing a defense that's going to kill some guys. But let's revisit the Broncos defense in 2 months. Like there's a lot of charts this week where it's like, look at where the Titans are. And, they're in their own area code in terms of, whatever it is, DVOA or what EPA per play. I think that the Broncos defense is going to collect charts like that this year. And it's going to be like, oh, they did it to Patrick Mahomes. They did it to Justin Herbert because they're really, really awesome.
Yeah, they did that a few times last year.
Yes. They blanked the Chiefs at the end of the year.
Well, at the end of the year, I'm not counting that one. I'm not counting the 38-0 when
it was still a roster that went to the Super Bowl. Like, I mean,
yeah, but nobody really played.
Okay, whatever.
Now, I will say this.
They crushed plenty of teams at the end of the year.
Well, they lost to the Chiefs in November, 16-14 in Kansas City.
Remember how they lost?
That
was a game that the Chiefs were gifted by the gods.
Oh, was it one of those like
that was one of those
come on, refs? Like
that was one of those. I forget if it was a total fluke turnover blessing. I think it was like a missed 30-yard field goal. The Broncos it was one of those things where they took knees, they ran the clock out, they were so confident they were going to win, and then the guy just yanks a 30-yarder.
Probably, yeah. There's several of those. So
I have it bookmarked as like an unbelievable Chiefs should have lost this game.
Yeah. Anyway, so like the Broncos defense, very, very good. We understand that, and the Titans weren't great over everything there. So I did favorite some comments. Kenneth brings up the multiple pass interference that were missed on the Broncos defense. There were two back-to-back that didn't get called on Alec and Ridley that should have been called. And that's kind of always a bummer. Eric asked this question. I'm curious of your thoughts. Did Cam play better than Bo Nix?
Yes.
Very much
unequivocally.
So. I mean,
Bo Nix was, I'm trying to think, like, Tua was worse on Sunday. Bryce Young, arguably worse on Sunday. Sam Darnold, maybe. I haven't watched that game super closely yet. There weren't five guys in the NFL worse than Bo Nix on Sunday. He looked really good in the opening drive when it was scripted, and then he came undone.
Well, he started at 4 for 4.
Yeah.
And then to end that first drive to field goal, he went 0 for 4.
Yeah, he looked like Oregon and Broncos rookie year Bo Nix for a drive, and then he turned into Auburn Bo Nix for the rest of the game.
Yeah. So, okay.
One more funny little like juxtaposition or maybe irony, Austin, is because this is the way that my brain works. Everybody's furious. Everybody's going like monkey brain, animal brain on the Titans in the middle of the game and after the game. And I'm sitting there in the stadium, just physically looking around the stadium of all these diehard Broncos fans. While I'm reading Titans Twitter, everybody's hair is on fire. And I turned to Nick Suss. I'm like, Titans fans are furious right now. What if we stop, zoom out, and consider how the Broncos feel? Because who's more mad than Titans fans right now? Broncos fans, who all came here expecting for their team to murder the Titans, and their team looks bad against a bad team.
Yeah. It was it was one of those games where before the game starts, I predicted 27-17 Broncos. I did say it was going to be not like a 27-10 Titans score late touchdown, 10 points, but like a tighter game Broncos score late to make it. Mm-hmm. And it kind of led to be that, but the Titans still had a chance to win or tie.
Every time I'd walk into the press box bathroom, they're playing like the local pregame. Yeah. And they kept having different, like, here's our insider, here's our radio guy, people coming on, and they'd end with their score predictions. And 4 different times throughout walking in the press box, I would hear like, what do you think how this game is going to end? And they're like, oh, Broncos easy, 3-score game. They were all expecting the Titans to get waxed. So I'd imagine this week in Broncos land, the media scene, the Talk Sports radio scene, relatively similar to the way that the Titans is going.
Yeah, probably so. All right, so let's go ahead and flip it around because we've talked the positive. Now there are things. The Titans lost. Cam Ward did not have a perfect game. But what's your top thing Cam Ward needs to prove upon moving forward? Your number one thing, your top thing. This is a pin personal to all of you guys. What is the top thing in your mind that Cam Ward needs to improve upon going into his next game against the Rams, which we'll talk probably more about tomorrow moving forward. But real quick, as you guys answer that question, I will tell you about Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They are have a phenomenal team, whether it's the four guys right there running the show on the screen or the support staff they have around them that help us out as a company. Zach and I have our workers' comp policy and our employee benefits policy through Barton Drury Insurance Group. Zach's got even more personally with them. I've got the personal health coverage as well for my family. And you guys can have the same thing for you, whether you own a business, whether you're just a single person out there taking on the world by yourself, or whether you have a family. Make sure you got that right coverage for the 401k planning, for the future, for the now, for everything. They've got it covered. And how about this for now? Every month this football season, we're A to Z is giving away a Titans jersey of your choice if you call and inquire about any type of insurance policy from Barton Drury Insurance Group. So the phone number is right there on the screen. Jot it down. Take it, save it for later. 615-806-1265. 615-806-1265. If you call them, tell them you heard about them at A to Z Sports. We have a shared Google sheet. We jot it down, and then at the end of the month, every month, we're going to spin that wheel and see somebody in that list is going to get a Titans jersey of their choice from A to Z Sports. So that's all you got to do. Inquire about that. It will help try to save you some money on whatever that policy is at bartondrury.com.
After week one, I think my jersey of choice would be a Chimere Dike jersey. Good game for the rookie. I want to tell you about our friends at BTA Sports. We are powered by BTA Sports. Austin, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to have a video with the fine folks over at BTA Sports coming in the near future this week.
That's right.
I think we're recording it today. So they're going to help us break down what exactly you get with BTA Sports. I know it can be a little bit confusing. You hear about, it's an analytics system. What does that mean for betting? Well, me, Austin, JT, have been toying with it for the past week. I feel like we finally figured it out. There were some things we're like, it does this too. We keep finding new things, and it is a really awesome service. So looking forward to explaining to you guys why you got to get with our friends at BTA Sports.
All right, Easton, to the chat you go. What are you seeing from the top thing the chat wants to see Cam Ward improve upon the most moving forward?
The people want Cam Ward to improve upon scoring a touchdown. Could have been in that. We'll talk about a touchdown that was there for the taking here in a second that he missed, unfortunately.
Jay is the biggest hater in the show today. And
is that right?
Yes, JR I've been ignoring all of the dumb things that he says.
Oh no.
I feel like he's trying to get a response out of
is he hating on Cam?
Us.
Is that what's happening?
He's hating on Cam. He's propping up Levis. He's like, Levis threw 4 touchdowns in his debut. Cam threw 0. Facts don't have feelings, which I guess, but
true.
Okay. But he's just doing all these things. So there you go.
Fair enough. Listen,
trying to bait.
He's holding his young quarterback to a high bar, high standards around here. Curtis says, "Can Cam make the wide receivers catch?" I mean, fair. Can we get to something he actually can do? Eric, okay, nothing. He's perfect in my eyes. The people don't want anything to change. Here we go. He can improve on his chemistry with the receivers. I don't think that that's a nothing burger, because I do think when he is throwing the seam ball in particular so aggressively, another thing that we saw in his college tape, we talked about all summer, this guy can throw the heck out of a seam ball. And he's doing so with such anticipation, so hard. He's going to learn, especially with this group of receivers, frankly, if we're being honest, you're going to need to hit those guys on the numbers a little bit more.
That's my answer. My answer is kind of differently. Accurate doesn't automatically mean catchable.
Yes. Good point.
He is accurate a lot.
Hitting dudes in the hands.
Well, and I hate, and this has been a thing of mine for years as a former receiver.
Yeah.
But it really started to show up when the Van Jefferson thing in Atlanta. that everybody was freaking out about. And then like I'm watching CeeDee Lamb on Thursday Night Football in the first game of the damn year, just drop things that he should have caught.
Mhm.
But like I cannot stand hit you in the hands, you got to catch it. Like no, if it hits you on like above like your knuckles on your fingers, no, that's like, I mean, ideally you should catch everything, but if it's off of your fingertips and it's flat, because here's the thing that drove me insane. Because Calvin Ridley had the hospital ball where he was diving into the ankles of the safety after laying out for it. It went off his fingertips. And I tweeted, you guys don't know how uncatchable that ball is. And some guy immediately on Sunday night responds to DeAndre Hopkins' one-handed catch. Like the trajectory of the ball matters, people. Like if the ball is coming down, it is easier to catch it one-handed. If the ball is coming flat on a line, it's like nearly impossible to catch.
How many one-handed catch frozen ropes do you see?
No, not many, unless you get your entire paw on it and it hits you in the center of your palm.
Right.
That's how you want it. Like you don't one-hand catch fingertips on a rope. You might have to volleyball that thing up in the air. And so again, accurate to where it hits somebody on their fingertips or hands does not mean catchable automatically. A very difficult catch, like a guy like Calvin Ridley could be running one direction and the ball is behind him. One of the most difficult things is to be running one direction and have to jump, turn, and twist and catch that from behind you. You might get a hand on it, but like what shoulder mobility do you really have to bring that thing in? It's just drives me insane. So accurate does not guarantee catchability. And so that's what Cam has to work on for me the most is throwing a catchable ball because he's going to be accurate because that's what he is. His mind, he's got a great connection on throwing the ball in the right area. It just comes natural to him. He just knows how to place it. And that's very, very impressive and is not teachable at times to certain levels. Now it's how can you throw a catchable ball with that accuracy?
I feel like it's kind of a bastardization of what was the saying or the rule. Like it should, I think at one point it was, and it should be, if you get two hands on the ball, you can catch the ball, right? Like you could have caught it if you touch it with both hands, not you have to catch it. You know what I mean? And I think it gets pushed in that direction because at the NFL level, you expected these guys to be the best of the best. Yes, sure. But to your point, not every catchable ball is made equal, and some are far more catchable than others. If it's a catchable, non-catchable binary, technically, if there's a 2% chance that you could physically catch that ball, it was catchable. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean you're going to catch it more than 2 times out of 100. Yeah. And it also doesn't mean that unless you're the best receiver in the NFL, you're going to catch it, right? Like we're also talking about the Titans receiving core right now.
You know what's ruined this is video games.
Sure. Yeah.
Video games. Because in the video game, if it is able to be touched by your video game receiver, it is typically caught because it's a video game. Right. This is not a video game. This is a human thing. Like, and you can just hold down that pass, that receiver button as hard as you want, fire that thing in there, and it's going to hit him and it's going to catch it.
Yeah, Madden knows nobody's paying for their game to see digital players drop the ball. Right. So that's what that is. Let's go back to
Vanessa
the comments.
Says, give me their salary, I will catch it. Stupid. Comment, not Vanessa.
I would also like to convince somebody to give me their salary, and then I would catch the ball. I'd be lying.
Corey says, I blame OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. Because the one-handed catch was basically a punt. Like
also, when did exceptions start becoming the rule?
Yeah, that's another weird one too.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that we still talk about that 10 years later is because we'd never seen it, not because it should happen every Sunday. All right, back to the comments.
This is my favorite too, Gonzo. Restrepo would have caught them all. No, Restrepo could not have caught up to the football to catch it.
I started seeing those immediately after the game, and it made me smile. Back to the comments. Some more answers on what we want to see Cam Ward improve upon, spinning things forward to week 2. Bearded Kunu and Jay are on the same page here. Stop taking unnecessary sacks. Jay says, get rid of the ball. stop taking sacks. Major Keys along the same lines, holding on to the ball too long. Malachi along the same lines, not running backwards. So this is not going to be my answer, but I was banking on the chat bringing it up because it absolutely is up there. I think the low light of Cam Ward's game, of his tape, were that one sequence where they sack their way out of field goal range. I feel like Austin, like it is definitely a mark against him. Can't do it. Low light of the tape. And also the least surprising mistake that he could have made. Like, I feel like I could have told you he'd do this because I've watched a lot of young quarterbacks enter the NFL for the first time. Don't we see every young quarterback learn this lesson the hard way? That they are no longer more athletic than the defensive linemen chasing them? That they can't just spin their way out like they could in college? You could ballerina your way backwards, keep spinning and keep running away from the big slow oafs. But now in the NFL, every single defensive tackle you face, even the sixth string guy on the bad team, is the best player you ever faced in your college career. And he's also somehow as fast or faster than you. So I'm just not I'm relatively unmoved by that. He's going to realize it. He's a smart guy. He's going to get better at it. It may take some time, but we see these guys learn that lesson the hard way all the time. He absolutely has to learn it. And I'm sure they're keying in on that. Especially there's a situational football element of it, right? Where okay, well, I already took one and it's put us on the precipice of field goal range when we were in comfortable field goal range. Definitely can't do it again because then I'll be costing my team points. And unfortunately he does. So that's a learning moment. My answer, Austin, is just some missed opportunities. And we have, this is the other side of the coin of the positive. We talked about how impressive he was under duress. And he was. And the fact that he saw Tony Pollard for the outlet, the fact that he saw Ridley across the field, those are positive marks. Out of structure. I think in structure, there were some moments where, and I'm not going to blame him entirely for this. I'm going to blame the offensive line about 50% for this, because these were some bang, bang moments. And we've got one to show here where on the tape, guys were open. And folks, call me a Callahan apologist. It's because, listen, I think that this game was probably Callahan's worst play calling game of the 18 he's called for the Titans, in my opinion, based on watching the tape. I also think it was not nearly as bad as everybody thinks that it was. And even though I think it was his worst, I still had a very familiar experience, Austin, where we feel one way about watching it. And then when I get back and get to go through the tape, I'm seeing, open guy here. Open guy here. Like this concept, it clearly worked. And if it weren't for Dan Moore, if it weren't for, whatever, then it would have worked.
5-6 drops, then there's 6 really good play calls that should have worked.
Well, you can go ahead and take those 5 or 6 drops and then add on.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I can think of 4, and I'm not, I'm sure I missed some. At least 4 plays that worked, that got guys open, that either Cam didn't see or the pressure just did not hold up long enough for Cam to be able to get the ball out. So let's go ahead and play the one that we have here, Austin. And this was the Titans' only real look at a touchdown all day. And I unfortunately have to tell you that Cam Ward missed what would have been a red zone touchdown. So if you see down at the bottom of your screen, you've got Van Jefferson 11 lining up to the boundary. Cam Ward, this is going to be a half field concept. They're going to run away from Nick Bonito, boots out. And it's a little bit of it's a pseudo rub route that Van runs to the corner of the end zone. Like the two receivers are going to mesh and try to pick off of each other, but it ends up just being they split and go their opposite ways. And Van does a good job of breaking off the cornerback. You've got Van Jefferson corner pocket. You play with a little bit of NFL anticipation, and I want to play this a couple times for folks to see. If Cam Ward, as he's booting, plays with some anticipation, puts that ball where only Van Jefferson can get it in the corner of the end zone, right here.
Yeah,
it's a touchdown all day, and it's who the play's designed for too. It's not one of those things where it's he didn't have time to get to his read. That is who the play is designed for. Let's play it one more time. To get Van Jefferson open in the corner pocket, to call a half field concept to get away from Nick Bonito. I know that Bonito
diagnosed man right now, right? Because the Ridley motion does that for you, so immediately you got it.
Yes, and Cam goes into scramble mode just a half second too early because Bonito's a really talented player, comes flying in from the backside, and Cam hears the footsteps. But there was time to get this ball off, and it should have been a touchdown. And there's a 1,000% chance that when he rewatched this and his coaches rewatched it, they are marking this as a gotta have it moment. Gotta have it moment. And Cam Ward would probably tell you, he may tell us today, missed that, needed it.
Let's watch it one more time because I think I just said now a little early, but I think here's another like deeper level of Cam wasn't ready to throw it with his feet when he needed to throw it. So we'll watch it again
True.
On this one. So he's drifting, he's looking that direction, but his feet weren't ready.
Yep. He needs to roll out whatever the rule is, 3-4 steps, plant, and because again, so I put this on Twitter and some retorts were, well, the pressure got there too early. Van wasn't open yet. It's not. This is not in the NFL. Very rarely are you waiting for a guy to get open with your eyeballs. That's college stuff, man. You are anticipating your guy getting open. And on that route in particular, it is designed for you to be able to throw the ball to the corner of the end zone where only your guy can get it. And either he's going to break off the cornerback and get wide open for an easy catch like Van Jefferson did here, or it's going to be a contested catch and you're trusting your guy to not let the other guy catch the ball. So he needs to throw this.
Yeah. So, Dan Moore lost a double team there. Like, why didn't Gunner block the edge rusher? So we'll go back to it. It doesn't matter, guys. Like the throw was like sometimes, let me pause. Sometimes offensive linemen know that the ball is supposed to be out within a certain time based on the route concept and play that is called. So they understand all I got to do is be really good for the first second and a half.
Yes.
Because the ball is out.
Lose slowly, right?
Yes. And so if that's the case, then I understand that. Like there was a couple instances where Dan Moore got beat late, but the ball was out. And that's a quick set. There's different terminology for offensive linemen. I talked to somebody about that actually earlier in the week too. So here is this again. The ball is supposed to be out even before Dan Moore gets beat. And then people are asking, why didn't Gunnar Helm block the edge at the top of your screen? Let's see what Gunnar Helm does. He blocks down and lets the edge player go. Because why? Because the ball is supposed to be out before that guy can feasibly get there.
So as for zero, right? As for Benito at the top of the screen, I don't have the rule book. Maybe today I can ask Callahan about this if I get to the facility. But I'm pretty sure, based on what I know about football, that because this is a boot half field concept, he's designed to go unblocked on purpose because the ball is supposed to be out. You are running away from the guy. You are condensing the play into that half of the field, and it's designed to be a one read throw. So I don't think that was a mistake on Gunner's part. I didn't even watch Dan Moore on that replay. We maybe can play it again. I don't doubt that Dan Moore lost. He did a lot of that on Sunday. But I'm not even sure Dan Moore's loss. Let's see here. Bottom of the line on our screen.
Mm-hmm. I know he and Skronsky were.
So maybe his loss forces Cam to get deeper than he wants to. I mean, not really, man.
You know what that is? That's one of those things where it would have been better if it. And this is, again, we are splitting hairs. We are maybe overanalyzing this. Dan Moore, I think, would have been better off if Tony didn't help. Because watch it again. When Tony starts to help, Dan Moore kind of pauses and then Benito splits him. And so it's like a kind of like, oh, you got it. No, oh, I thought you had it. No, I thought you got it, right? Like it's kind of like did Tony kind of get in Dan's way?
I don't know. I mean, all I know is Dan Moore had a lot of really bad losses in this game. That's like that. If we want to call that not a win, fine. That's not a loss. That was a loose. He did the requisite amount to be able to give Cam Ward the space and the time to throw that ball. Regardless, and I think today, I'd like to ask Cam about this today. I would put real money on him saying that's on me. Got to see it. Got to throw it. Got to set my feet.
Yeah, his feet were slow.
He just heard the footsteps, which is he's a rookie.
I don't even think he heard the footsteps. I think this is just literally not having the urgency required to get the ball to where it needed to go on time.
Maybe, but I definitely think the way that he reacts and goes into scramble mode when he turns his head, he out of the corner of his eye sees zero coming. And I think it takes his focus off of what he's doing, freaks him out a little bit, thinks he's going to get murdered back there, which, fair. I would also be worried about that.
Man, I just the throw was there. The more you watch that, it was there regardless of what the edge rusher on the right side of the offense or what Benito did beating Dan Moore did. The touchdown was there. It was wide open.
And he's going to have those moments that this is not actually Cam Ward played a bad game. Not even a little bit. These are just the things that even in really good rookie debuts, there's always something to improve upon. And next week, that's going to be the kind of thing. Because listen, as we pointed out a lot last year with Callahan and why I continue to defend him, this familiar experience that I'm talking about, where I kept finding on the rewatch, it's like, oh, this works. The guy's open. If I had a nickel for every time last year, he managed to somehow get a receiving player open in the end zone, which is, I can't overstate how hard that is to do in the NFL, to get a guy like NFL open in the end zone that didn't get hit, that was supposed to get hit. I'd have a really nice collection of nickels. And so they need to capitalize on those.
Yeah. The irony in Busted Diamond, literally just saying this, Callie's red zone play calling exposes how bad of a coach play caller he is.
What more can he do than get guys open?
Just watched it 8 times of how wide open Van Jefferson was if the throw was made on time. All right, we need to keep on moving because we're already an hour into this thing, and we got. I want to know the most important takeaway that you had from yesterday's tour of Nissan Stadium. We'll get to that, but first, Window Nation, windownation.com. Guess what I did this morning, Easton? I went to windownation.com. I punched in my information to get a free estimate. They actually called me right before the show was going to start to schedule that. I said, hey, can you hit me up this afternoon? And they're like, yeah, we got you. And
they're
so that's
so prompt.
They're crazy. I 6:30 this morning, windownation.com, punched the info, free estimate for my new windows for Window Nation. And then like an hour and a half after that, give me a shout out. So buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free. There's a great deal this September because you also don't have any payments due. You don't owe anything for 2 years. So that stadium that you just toured yesterday, nobody has to pay anything on the windows until games are being played in that new stadium in 2027. Windownation.com is the website. 866-90Nation is the phone number. So check them out in the Nashville area. They're looking for upgrading your windows. It's been a hot summer. The electric bill's probably been way up. I know I'm looking to see if they can help me lower my bills with better windows, with better looking windows as well. Online, windownation.com. Easton, I want to go ahead and jump into this for you. Your biggest takeaways from your second tour now of new Nissan Stadium.
My biggest takeaway is that the place is sick, and they're making a lot of progress on it. And every time I go back, it's really, really cool. I can't wait for us all to get in there. I can't wait to. I mean, listen, you're not missing out on the greatest thing of all time yet. I think it will be unbelievable. It's still a construction zone and largely steel and concrete. There are portions of the lower levels they're starting to put drywall in. You start to see you can tell they've outlined where this circle bar is going to be, and okay, I can tell this is going to be a market in this room, and you can start to kind of see it. But largely, it's still infrastructure. The biggest single takeaway for me, Austin, is that when they say there's not going to be a bad seat in the house, they are not feeding you a bill of goods. They're not selling you a bill of goods on that. That is, I think, true. Have you been to the Castle to see a Nashville SC game?
No.
Okay. Well, one day when you go, I'm sure you will if you live here long enough, you will realize, and for those of us that are marginal soccer fans, what you tend to do is let's go see a soccer game. Okay, well, let's find the cheapest possible seats because I'm going to enjoy myself, but I'm not deeply invested in this. And so the couple times I've gone, it's oh look, $20 seats, 3rd row from the top. Let's just go get in the building. Mm-hmm. And then you get there and you get up to your seat and you're like, $20 for this? I don't feel that you expect to be disconnected from the action and the nosebleeds. Not the case. Not the case at all in that stadium. It's built very vertically and very cleverly so that your sight lines are really impressive no matter where you are. I don't think there's a bad seat in that stadium. And the Titan Stadium is going to be at least twice the capacity. I think that one's 30,000-ish.
Yeah, it's 30.
Titans is going to be 60.
Yep.
I think even at that scale, it's the same. And listen, I'm not trying to dump on the current place, which is itself a dump, but the reality is I'm not trying to be mean to anybody whose seats are in this area. If you've been, this is your season ticket holder, this is your spot. It's it's near and dear to your heart. More power to you. For me personally, the times that I've been in the true nosebleeds of Nissan Stadium for concerts or games or whatever it is, I sort of in my heart regret spending the money on it because I'd rather just kind of watch at home. You know what I mean? It is, you're watching from space up there. And it's questionable whether it's worth the money to me. We went up to the 400 level of the new stadium yesterday, and it could not feel any more different. It couldn't. You won't know. You won't really know what I'm talking about till you're in there. But boy, do you feel close to what's going to be the action, close to the field as compared to new Nissan Stadium. So that's my biggest takeaway is that if you're like contemplating, I'm not trying to like be a salesperson for the Titans here, but I'm personally thinking about it myself, so that's why I'm saying it. If you're trying to think about where in the stadium you want to buy seats, do not be scared away by the ones that are the cheapest, that are the furthest from the field, because they're still good seats.
Caps just said, Easton, should I get a PSL in the 200s on the corner of the end zone or nosebleed 50-yard lines? I'm thinking nosebleed 50, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming that the price is not the same here, and assuming the nosebleeds is a better value, I would do nosebleeds.
Obviously, I have not toured it like you have, but I went to Titan's house. Zach and I, as a company, A to Z has PSLs. We got 4 in the cool. 100. Yep, we got 4 in the 100 level in like the corner of the end zone a few months back in the spring. So I've been to Titan's house. I went through the whole thing, right? And so I've seen the all the different stuff on this, and that if you are looking at a upper deck nosebleed in air quotes seat, that is supposed to be equivalent to like the last row in the current club level, like the last row in the current like red seats. That's how much closer it's going to be. And so currently you're looking club level. Why they put club level there? Best eye line for like TV type situation. And you also get the perks of like going inside and all that. I also think this, and here's what I also know. The upper decks in this new stadium is also going to have the perks of the rooftop bar experience behind you, which you don't get.
Terrace level.
Yeah, that terrace is going to be sick, guys. Like it is going to feel like a Broadway bar.
My expectation is that the upper level terrace is going to be the best part of the stadium. Like the coolest area.
Yeah. Major Keys asks, how can I win a PSL from A to Z? Well, the whole point of us, of Zach and I doing that is to give away game tickets and to you guys and to sponsors. So that's the whole point of that. So it's not like Zach and I are going to be like going to games and stuff. It's a business investment for you guys, honestly, because that's fun and why not? But yeah, so that I'm pretty excited about that overall. Roy asked, what kind of video board will the new stadium have? Pretty big, right?
I mean, what kind? Daktronic is the company, but it is going to have technically 4 different video boards. There are 2 curved screens in the west end zone that are up in the corners that are very large. I don't know the exact size, but quite big. And then there's one that is the length. It's going to be like a super stretched res length of the end zone on the east end zone. That is the main video board that covers that entire wall. And then there's what they call the Ring of Fire, which is I think it's like an 8-foot tall ring. So it's like a ribbon, but like a super fat ribbon that's at the top. That's not just like most ribbons. It's just big enough to like show stats and stuff. This will be big enough to show videos and all kinds of things that they have going around the rooftop that I've heard some really cool things that they're going to utilize that for. And I think that if you're in that upper level, that's another perk, is that you're going to have a really good view of those things.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. Are you ready for some trivia?
Trivia.
All right. Trivia time here to wrap up this show. Easton, you and I have 2 shots at trivia.
How about that?
Yeah,
what could go wrong?
Here we go. Up to Wilson County Hyundai, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Make them a part of your new car buying process. They'll help you save money on your new ride by going to Lebanon, not the downtown prices, not the Nashville stuff, but just quick trip to Lebanon, see Payne Bone, say hey to him. They do a great job with Wilson County Hyundai, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Easton, are you ready for some trivia?
Hit it.
All right, here we go. The transition was smooth.
It was.
Okay, all right.
But we do have an HL, so now I'm scared.
Orlando says over under 4.5. Bus and Diamond says favorite segment. Let's go.
Let's do it.
We're all on the same team. Nobody's been on the same team this entire week. We've all been arguing. We've been at each other's throats.
It's true.
All right. Can we get a little? Okay, we're good. No zoom. You can't get a little zoom action.
I mean, I can.
It might mess you up.
It might cut us off a little bit. Let's
Okay,
see.
that's fine.
Yeah, it's not quite going to work. All right. NFL.
NFL.
What AFC South quarterback led the NFL in passing yards in 2009?
2009 AFC South. Peyton Manning. Or is it Matt Schaub?
Is this a trick question? Like my immediate thought was Peyton, but
It's gotta be Peyton Manning. Because 2009 was not the Titans. That was CJ's rookie year.
Yeah. Let's
go. No, that was his 2K year.
Wow. So it was a trick question.
Dang.
I bet it was like Matt Schaub. That's crazy. The form of execution known as the guillotine was invented and used most notably in this country, France. Television recently released on a streaming app. The Papers, a spin-off show of The Office. I've heard mixed things about that.
I have not seen it yet.
Grossing over $250 million, this 05 comedy opens with a scene following a divorce mediation and features a supporting cast of Isla Fisher, Bradley Cooper, and Christopher Walken.
Is this Is this Wedding Crashers? I think it's Wedding Crashers.
Okay. I've not seen that movie. I really should though.
You haven't seen Wedding Crashers?
I know. That's a bad look for me. Needless to say, I'm keeping a check. She was a bad, nevertheless. Calling it quits. Now, baby, I'm a wreck. Our lyrics from this 2018 song from Post Malone and Sway Lee. Sunflower. Or yeah. It was in Across the Spider-Verse.
Sure.
Good song. Great movie. The words family farm owned are typically found under the name of this brand known for fruit juices, jellies, and jam spreads and fruit snacks.
Ocean Spray? No, Ocean. What's it?
Is it Ocean Spray?
Hold on.
No, that's not even a thing on here.
No. I messed up. It's not. It's Ocean.
I know what you're talking about though.
The commercials where they have like the guys standing in the cranberry.
Yeah. What's that company?
I see it. It's a white bag with blue, like ocean something, right? It's not Welch's.
I mean, Welch's would also fit this category, though. Maybe we're just wrong about it being that company that we can't think of. Oh, so Daft says it is Ocean Spray, and that's not even an option on here. So let's try Welch's. That's an option.
I don't feel good about it.
I mean, they do fruit juices, jellies, jams, and spreads.
It's Ocean Spray. Did you just type it wrong?
I don't think so. Ocean. There's nothing under Ocean.
What?
I think it's Welch's. Everyone knows Welch's fruit snacks. I'm sending it. It's Welch's.
Okay.
Ryan Murray was drafted second overall by this current day Eastern Conference team in 2012. Not even the slightest clue. Chat, gotta help.
Well, it says current day Eastern Conference, which makes me think that it was part of the move from West to East whenever they realigned.
That's a good point.
But that doesn't help me out.
Right, I don't know which teams did and didn't do that. It'd be teams like in Ohio, right?
Columbus?
Yeah, maybe the Blue Jackets.
I think Columbus was a West turned East team.
Chat, can anyone confirm Columbus?
Also, Detroit was also a West turned East team. I knew that because they got taken out of the Preds conference, and that was a rivalry that people were pissed about. Okay. So it's either, I think it could be the Red Wings, and the Red Wings sucked in this time frame. So I think it could be Detroit.
Let's just try Detroit. I've got no better answers. No, we tried. After not playing in the NBA for over 4 seasons, Emeka Okafor made a return in 2018 while playing for the Southwest Division team.
The NBA divisions are so
gross. Who did Emeka Okafor play for in 2018? Suns?
That's kind of a wild comeback.
Chat? Was it the Suns?
Chat's quiet.
Wake up, chat.
Yeah, I do think it was the Blue Jackets on that NHL question.
Okay. I need Rockets, Suns, or Clippers? Suns? People are saying Suns like me? Suns? Do we want to try Suns?
I don't know, man.
Trying Suns. Nope.
We missed all the sports ones.
This is that Dame Judi Dench in the middle?
And Morgan Freeman. This is a strange, like, left-right thing.
How do you is it Judy with an I? Okay, and then
Ted.
Are you sure that's Morgan Freeman with the?
Ted,
I don't
Ted
think it's Morgan. No, that's a white man's
Well,
hair.
if you could zoom in and I could see it.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, it's not Morgan Freeman.
Okay. Devin thinks Ted Danson's also a good one. It could be Ted Danson.
Is he the guy from The Good Place?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Ted Danson. Nice. Let's try the Blue Jackets, I guess. Or
No.
I'm mad that we don't have the AFC South quarterback.
Let's do Matt Schaub. It's Matt Schaub.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's see what the other ones were real quick. NBA, the Pelicans. Okay.
That's super Southwest, right?
Yeah. NHL was the Blue Jackets.
Damn.
Oh, well. Not a great day for you boys.
Hey, we'll do it again tomorrow.
We've got tomorrow.
That's right. All right, guys. That is it for us on the show. Make sure that you do hit the like button before you leave. Easton and I will be back tomorrow on a Thursday. We'll turn the corner towards the Rams game a little bit. Find out what happens at Titans practice later on today. But we'll catch you guys then. Buck Rising live tonight for prime time. See you guys later. Appreciate it.